Hello my friends, Jacob is here once again. Thank you for pressing play and for spending some amazing quality time with me. What is sure to be, it's like the finale of the movie. This is the denouement. We've been entering into it for a while, and here it is. The book of Revelation literally playing out as we speak. Got so many people sending me email after email. They said, oh, you just talked about this. Have you seen this picture? St. George Zelensky slaying the dragon. Yep, that's right. Interesting stuff. I didn't expect to be coming on here today. I'm still working on that program that I can't wait to share about the Antichrist. Yeah, I hope you're excited too. It's a long one. It's like an hour-long teaching. But this show, much like the last show, I'm excited about. It's one of those things that just came to me out of the blue. I wasn't expecting it, but I got so many comments from the last video. If you haven't seen my last video about the pale horse, the green horse of the apocalypse, Revelation chapter 6, which is kind of a blow-by-blow of the revelation of Christ, which is really a spiritual thing taking place, but we see it literally taking place in the world as well, because not everybody is going to look at the spiritual side of things, right? People are focused on the outward man, the outside, this temporal world, the fake world, because we're already seated in heavenly places. This isn't our final resting place. Jesus made it clear. He said, my kingdom's not of this world. If it was, I'd be doing what you're doing. And I'm not doing that. I'm loving. But in that book in Revelation chapter 6, you talk about these riders of the horses of the apocalypse, which, by the way, the word apocalypse is really, there are a bunch of books that you probably don't even know about in a library that was found by a shepherd boy throwing stones. It's called the Apocrypha, or the Nag Hammadi Library, because that's where it was found. But they have books like the Apocalypse of John, the Apocalypse of Peter, stuff like this, the revealing of. It's the, you get the inspiration, you get the understanding. It's the revelation of something. So the horsemen of the apocalypse are here to wake us up, if you will. Now, I was drawing some conclusions, spiritual significance to the fact that it's literally playing out for the people that need something tangible to understand. I'm bringing this back up because, of course, on that picture, you see Zelensky, St. George Zelensky, riding the white horse. Notice also on his chest, I'm going to show you that picture again. There's a trident. We're going to get into that in a second. That's the symbol for the Ukraine and other things, like the god of the sea. When the Lamb opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth living creature say, come, and I looked, and there before me was a pale horse, a green horse. Its rider's name was Death, and Hades was following close behind. Now, why is this interesting? This is interesting because a lot of people in the comments section pointed out the fact that Hades literally followed and showed up here on February 22nd of 2022. Remember, that was the day that I did my program called The Day of Reckoning Is Come. And I said, oh, it's coming. That's it. I've been trying to be positive, but it's coming. And then, like 48 hours later, then, it was announced. It's interesting how God kind of gives us the heads up ahead of time before things happen, right? So a bunch of people pointing that out to me in the comments section. I say thank you because, of course, I didn't put two and two together until I saw it, but I responded. I even think I pinned one of the comments because I saw it and I said, well, that's what would happen, right? Hell's coming. I did a program about what was going down on the 22nd, 2022, and I talked about the war because last time it was here was when the independence. It's like the 4th of July, a while ago. That was the last time it was here. So there's a big battle that's going to take place that's going to get us to some kind of spiritual independence and liberty and freedom, if you will. I don't know if that's anything, but I thought that was interesting as well. But not as interesting as the fact that everybody was trying to get me to look at this one more time. So I looked at it. I saw that picture of Zelensky with the trident, and I thought that's interesting. Because the trident is very symbolic of, you think when you see the trident, you think of Aquaman. Now, I know that this seems like, where are you going with this? But it's all connected. It's all connected. It's connected to an asteroid. It's connected to a lot of things. This is a good show. I hope that you're buckled up. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, will you please hit the like? If you're in the live premiere right now, do me a favor, hit the like. It helps. You know what that like does? It tells the algorithm that people like this video. So literally, if you could X out of chat as I'm saying this right now and you hit that like button, what it does is it sends a message, and then YouTube will then notify more people that are subscribers here. And then if we get more people to watch this premiere, and I hope that you're listening to me and not just looking in the chat to see, because you all talk to each other, I get it. But then it helps the video to then be recommended to a lot more people, which then ultimately helps us all, because then more people will love and be kind. So Aquaman, I think Aquaman, this is weird. So I remember, hey, hang on a second. I think Aquaman 2 is coming out. James Wan's back as the director, and Jason Momoa is reprising his role in Aquaman, get this, and the Lost Kingdom. You say the kingdom of God has been lost. You say the lost tribes of Israel. Great. But this is interesting. When an ancient power is unleashed, as a terrible demon or a devil that's been cast into the earth, or a nine-tailed fox that was released out of a stone in Japan after being locked up for 1,000 years. And terrible, ancient evil is unleashed. When this happens, Aquaman must forge an uneasy alliance with an ally to protect Atlantis and the world from irreversible devastation. Now, here's where it gets a little weirder. Okay, weirder. Yeah, this is interesting. So you got the trident, right? That's what that's the Ukraine. And everywhere you see St. George, that's what everybody's calling him now, right? Because he's a big hero. There may be a little more to this story. He may be another character. I don't know if he's a hero. I'm going to say no. But that's just my opinion. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of people that, don't really care about the people that they're supposed to be serving. Not saying that's the case with him, but the whole thing's a mess, isn't it? In the film, by the way, we can see Patrick Wilson and Nicole Kidman. They're going to reprise their roles as Mira and, get this, King Nereus. Now, I read this because I'm looking at the trident, I'm thinking Aquaman, I'm thinking of the sea, the god of the sea. Who's the god of the sea? The god of the sea is the devil, okay? Because the sea is unrepentant mankind. It's the ways of the world, right? The beast sits on is on the sea, the many waters of the world, the many nations, carnal mankind. So of course, and there's a beast that's unleashed in the sea. He's known as the Kraken, right? Release the Kraken. The Kraken has been released in the world, sadly. So I see King Nereus and I think, didn't I just do a program about an egg-shaped asteroid named Nereus? And I did, 3 months ago. I know this all seems it's all over the place, but think about this for a second. We're talking about the Kraken. We're talking about this god of the sea, Nereus. And Nereus is reprising his role in this story. And then you have President Zelensky, who's surrounded by Tridents everywhere you look. Ironically, Donut just did a program about, I guess, crypto or something. You got to check out his channel if you get a chance. But he goes into the whole maritime law and the water and all this stuff, and he talks about the Trident. I think it's interesting because the whole time I'm just thinking, it's the devil's pitchfork. Where do you think it came from? It's the devil's pitchfork. Just saying. Of the sea. That's why Jesus walked on top of the sea, right? It doesn't sink in and fall into the ways of this world. We're supposed to be fishers of men. We're supposed to put our clickbaity thumbnails out there, the bait, and we're supposed to, reel them in out of the sea. In Revelation 13, this is quite interesting because this group of people, if you want something tangible and literal to hang on to, this group of people, right? So the dragon stood on the shore of the sea. If we were going to look at this literally today, you probably say the dragon is symbolic of China, right? So they had their big G7 summit, their big G7, seven-headed beast, a lot of people may say. Or maybe they don't say and you're hearing it for the first time here. But I've made the connection, and I saw a beast coming out of the sea, the beast system. Yeah, that's the literal beast. I get it. There's also spiritual significance to this. But once again, everybody we're all a bunch of meatballs. Sometimes we're looking at the outward man a little bit more. God looks at the inward man. Mankind looks at the outward man. Not the best thing to do. Beast comes out of the sea. It has 10 horns and 7 heads. Right, it's the G7, but they're like 10 horns in the G7. Okay. And on each head a blasphemous name. The beast I saw resembled a leopard, had feet like a bear, and a mouth like a lion. The dragon gave power to the beast, and his throne is great authority. One of the heads of the beast seemed like it had a fatal head wound. Now, this is why I'm doing the program about the Antichrist. Everybody wants to point fingers at who these people are. Who is it? It's everybody. It's a lot of people, sadly. But yeah, there'll be a literal tyrant, okay? If that's what you want to hear, you're going to hear it, okay? So you got the picture of them literally standing on the sand of the shore. Very coincidental. All of this is happening, and they're meeting about China, the dragon that comes out of the sea, just kind of like that island. Their islands that they built from nothing. Once again, this is all just speculation and everything else. But I see a spiritual tie-in here. I think it's interesting. So could this be, is this literally all playing out? Is it all playing out right now in the world? Is that what's going on? I mean, it certainly kind of seems to be, right? That should give you some excitement. It's not like I didn't tell you on the channel it was coming. Not like I didn't tell everybody it was coming for a long time. That's why I'm smiling and I'm laughing and I'm having a good time. Danielle was upset. She finally wants to get out. She's like, okay, you were right, because I told her, I said, war is coming next. I said, war is coming. I warned her. I keep telling her, I said, you don't understand. We got to get a place. War is coming next. Something's going to happen in the city. I feel it. So finally she's on board. She wants to move. And then I'm like, why don't we just stay where we are? Just trust God. I don't know if that's smart or not, but it's like you can't live in fear. I can't get too scared, because I do see the spiritual symbolism. I do see a lot of things coming together for the good, right? At the same time that this is all happening. By the way, I'm not choosing any sides here. I don't think anybody's good or anybody's bad. I think it's all bad. I think the whole system's bad. That's why I think God's bringing judgment on the whole thing. I don't know how it's going to happen, but God does use corrupt rulers to make war. He does. He brings terrible rulers to bring correction when Israel messed up again and again and again. So could this be the hooks that brought the, maybe, right? Maybe. Is it going to get worse? Maybe. I don't know. I can't tell you that. But what I can tell you is that the symbolism's all there. much so that everybody's making a big deal, like, that Putin's out there and he's like quoting scripture. The one from John, if a man loves, there's no greater love that a man has and he lays down his life for another. They use this scripture to justify war, which is a terrible thing, because it's not like there's no greater love you have than to grab a weapon and go shoot some people. I'm not saying that you shouldn't defend your home or your nation, or I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is the love that you have is laying down your life, your hopes, your dreams and aspirations, and your beliefs and your ego so that you can serve other people. If people are wrong, you don't want to hurt them. You want to help them. Sometimes you got to put your pride aside. You got to put your ego aside to help them. And there's no greater love than you do this for others, to lay down your life in the world for the greater good. Because if we're looking at like this beacon of society, we're looking at this beacon of democracy that they say, and they're picturing him as such a big hero and he just shut down like 11 political parties over there. 11. A lot of them are very closely tied to, Russia and Putin. So he just shut them down. This was in one of the newspapers out there. I don't know what it is. Zelensky suspends 11 political parties over Kremlin's collusion claims, including one led by the father of Putin's goddaughter, who signed a decree merging all television channels into one platform. There's only going to be one. See what I mean? There's a new world order of things. There was a liberal order that Biden was talking about before. There was a liberal order, it worked, but now it's time for a new one. He actually just said this. He just said this.
One of them, as one of the top military people said to me in a secure meeting the other day, 60 million people died between 1900 and 1946. And since then, we established a liberal world order, and that hadn't happened in a long while. A lot of people dying, but nowhere near the chaos. And now is a time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there, and we've got to lead it. We've got to unite the rest of the free world in doing it. So anyway.
And then the vice president went on and talked about the significance of time and mentioned it like 80 times. I'm not sure what she was talking about. I don't think a lot of people did. But this is a spiritual battle. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, principalities and powers, spiritual wickedness. It's a spiritual war that we're in, and that's why we don't have to worry, because God's got it worked out. If God be for us, who can be against us? And how do I know that it's a spiritual war? Because and what's coming down? Babylon the Great, it's fallen. I've said that this was happening. The system's coming to an end, and it's ironic because as it's coming to an end, it's literally being played out. It just did in Russia. There was an artist, and they built a represent in effigy. They burned the Tower of Babel in effigy. Miles from the border of Ukraine in a small art town of Kaluga, Russians gathered together to burn an effigy of the Tower of Babel during a time when there's more disunity and war. It's ironic, right? All this stuff's happening. You see the god of the sea in the background, right? The Kraken, release the Kraken. At the dragon that came out of the sea, gives power to the seven-headed beast with the 10 horns. St. George looks like he's slaying the dragon on the white horse, but we all know it's probably not the white horse. Polyakova is the architect's name, and a team of 16 people built this 23-meter tower made of timber, logs, brushwood. I mean, it looked like the old school depictions. It was actually it's pretty cool. And then they burnt it down, and it was an amazing sight to see. For me, it was an amazing sight to see because I know that this system's being burnt down. They're gonna cry about this stuff. This whole system's going bye-bye. That's gonna be a big problem. It's going to be a big problem for a lot of people. That's why I'm just trying to get everybody spiritually prepared. If you have faith and you know God, it's going to be an adventure. I tell you, just have faith. God's going to work it out. He's going to make a way for us. This is Israel when they were released from Egypt. It really wasn't great to be in, but they ended up inheriting the promised land until they sinned again. And then here we go. It's like the cycle repeats. Rinse, wash, repeat. It just happens again and again and again. The Tower of Babel, just so you know, I'll give you a little insight into that, a little spiritual insight. Now, the whole world had one language. There was a one world order. All the people moved eastward. They found a plain and they settled there. They said, come, let us make bricks and bake them together. I have a whole show, by the way, on the Tower of Babel. If you want, check it out. So they came together and they decided to build this tower, and they wanted to build it up to the heavens so they could make a name for themselves. Ironically, that word tower doesn't mean really literal tower. It means an elevated platform, a stage, and a pulpit. It's kind of like God. You know, it's kind of like the pulpits where people talk about God. It's kind of like an altar. They kind of built themselves a temple for themselves to worship themselves as God. Look at all we could do. Here we see man's plans coming to an end, spiritually and prophetically, as it's being burnt down in Russia. At the same time, Russia is, all of this stuff is happening together, and it's very exciting to me. And it should be exciting to you, and we got to pray that it comes to a peaceful conclusion. Like I'm hoping, and I put a lot of stuff out here. I'm hoping that really corrupt people are revealed to be really corrupt. And I think that's coming. You all know about the dream I had about the laptop, and we talked about it all. Stuff is happening, right? Talk about Rand Paul recently. You watch Rand Paul, all of a sudden he's gonna sock it to somebody. All of it's coming. I feel like it, but I don't know. If they be corrupt, Lord, that their corruption be revealed for the world to see, and that you bring correction, and that, Lord, you can turn the hearts, turn us back to you. Ask for the truth, will you? If you don't have faith, you should have it, because there's more. Some people write me, they say, oh, I'm an atheist, but I love your show. I'm like, okay, I would be an atheist in the religious system too. I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about on your own. You don't got to listen to anybody. Just do it on your own. What do you got to lose? Nothing. The world's going away. We're all going to physically die, but we're not meant to be here. Ultimately, we're meant to set people free from the chains here. And that's what I'm sending you out into the world to do, just as Christ sent me out into the world to do, just as God sent Christ into the world to do. This is the same thing. Let's go out, huh? Let's go out and we get people to come to the knowledge of the truth and ask for the Lord to guide them and heal them and lead them. I love you all. Do me a favor, share the channel around, tell your friends, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. Head on over, get yourself a copy of The Calling. I'm gonna play the concept trailer, because with faith, this will become a movie. Check it out. If you haven't read it, get it on Amazon. Leave a comment. Thank you for supporting the channel. Everybody, it's so helpful, and I love you. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
September 10th. Mars hangs closer to the Earth than it has in 6,000 years. Like the light that led men from the east to a child in a manger, it could well be a sign of good things to come. Thomas James shall be his name. The world will change because of him. In the small town of Bethel, in a time not unlike our own, a child with a great purpose is born. Years later, alienated by his peers and abused, Thomas suffers a devastating loss. When it appears he has nothing left to live for in the world, this is when his true calling begins. While trying to escape the sinister powers that be, a terrifying vision haunts him. Miraculous events seem to follow the peculiar young man as he struggles to come to terms with what he was born to do. The stage is set. The time is at hand. The truth will rise and a revolution will begin. The startling revelation of who Thomas James is, truly, will change the lives of those around him and set off a chain of events long ago foretold. There is more to this novel than one might think. Inside these pages hides a treasure just waiting to be discovered. So if you've ever wondered if there's more to life, or why it is we suffer, then this story will not only captivate you, it may just open your eyes to a truth that could set you free. Find out what is in us all that makes us heed the calling. Click it!